The moment their fingers touched, Lena was already tainted by dark magic. Combined with the relentless influence of evil, she was completely consumed by it. In the library, Lena found an ancient book on blood magic and began studying it intently. By then, her appearance had already started to turn grotesque. The heads of both the Light and Dark Academies approached her, hoping to persuade her to abandon this path. But it was too late. Lena raised her finger, and blood magic began to flow at her fingertips. In a flash of white light, time skipped to the annual Eternal Ball, an exclusive event for the Light Academy. As everyone sang and danced, Lena suddenly burst in, now transformed into a witch. She approached the prince, hoping to continue their relationship, but the prince had lost all interest in her, no matter the reason. This was exactly the outcome Lena wanted. When the Light Academy students tried to attack her, she effortlessly deflected them with her blood magic. Agasha pleaded with Lena not to let evil cloud her judgment, but Lena coldly replied, "You and I are destined enemies. Unless one of us dies, this story will never end." With that, she turned and left. Suddenly, students rushed in, shouting that something terrible had happened. Agasha and the prince ran to see that all the teachers had been turned into figurines. The prince immediately drew his sword, vowing to stop Lena's rampage. Agasha tried to intervene, but no one listened to her. Traditionally, the Dark Academy attacked, and the Light Academy defended. If the Light Academy struck first, no one knew what would happen, but Lena knew this was part of her plan. Agasha transformed into a bird and flew into the Dark Academy, only to find its students dancing. Lena had unilaterally organized the first hopeless ball. By now, Lena had aged dramatically. Agasha approached her, still trying to reason with her, but with a wave of her hand, Lena ensnared Agasha. At that moment, the Light Academy students stormed in, and a battle seemed inevitable. To ensure fairness, the headmaster decided to hold a trial for Lena and the prince. The two would enter the Blue Forest from opposite ends. If they could find each other and survive by dawn, it would prove their love was true. Lena had never entered the Blue Forest and had no idea how terrifying it became after dark. As soon as she stepped in, she saw a patch of beautiful flowers and thought, surely beauty can't be wrong. She walked in, only to nearly be devoured by carnivorous plants. After barely escaping, she stumbled into a pumpkin field where a scarecrow suddenly came to life and chased her with a blade. Outside, Agasha heard Lena's screams and transformed into a bird to fly into the forest. As they ran, they suddenly heard the prince's voice. Agasha hid, urging Lena to meet him, but the pumpkin man was already fighting the prince, who had lost his weapon. In a critical moment, the prince shouted for Lena to hand him his weapon, but she stood frozen. Just as the prince was about to be overwhelmed, Agasha rushed in, grabbed the weapon, and handed it to him. After defeating the pumpkin man, the prince realized it was Agasha who had come to his aid. He concluded that Lena was not truly kind and stormed off in anger. Lena, in turn, blamed Agasha for everything, convinced that her best friend had been trying to steal her life from the very beginning. And so, the two sisters became bitter enemies.